August 10th. So I'm going to be away for a little bit. I'll be in the wilds somewhere with limited Wi-Fi. It's funny, you can go almost anywhere and still get Wi-Fi. I'll still be doing 365. I don't know if I'll be uploading 1080p video, given how spotty my connection will be. More on that as it develops. Yesterday was a good day. Did full sun salutations. Last night, my elbow, of all things, was absolutely excruciating, and I don't know what that was all about. I imagine it's because the nerves that run under here were all kind of, you know, having a thing.
I found out it was a level 2.
Yeah, that's a good point. The orthopedist said that it's a level 2. It was not a level 1. He said it was a really good level 2. But I've made amazing progress in the amount of time that I've been healing. I've healed like a lot. I did get some info on a specialist and an MRI, and the thing is by the time I get those things done, I'll have healed. Like, everything that's going to happen will have happened, right? There won't be any more, like, adjustments to make. Like, imagine a broken bone, right? You get a broken bone, and if you don't set the bone, it heals badly, right? It heals like all wackadoo. It's not exactly what's going on when you have a tendon injury, ligaments, but it's not. It's not that far off. Why is it different? Because ligaments are supposed to move around anyway, just a little. It's supposed to have like some whatever that is. That's what they have. They don't do any of this stuff, right? But they're kind of like, So, very accurate anatomy lessons. My point is, if there's scarring that's going to cause me mobility issues later, it's going to be set in, it's done. Can't do anything about it. And I'm still worried about that. So let's, like a year from now, I'm like, yeah, I got a frozen shoulder. And my doctor is going to say something like, well, if you hadn't done sun salutations, you would be fine right now. That's what I'm worried about. Hey, dude. So my specialist, if anything, is going to be able to reassure me or tell me I'm doomed. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think that's all I got. I mean, at this point, is it a 365 if Cassie is not in the video? All right, I want to do my thing. Let's try something different. Because spur of the moment changes, they're always good. I'm going to try them right here and see if I can do this. blah, 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 blah. several thoughts occurred to me. First of all, just the technical stuff. Holding my arms upwards in Utkatasana is much more difficult than downward dog. Downward dog, I have the floor as leverage. Right, I'm pushing between my hands, hips, ankles, and then I can adjust that tension by my knees. Bend my knees, change the tension, right? In Utkatasana is when it's just my back. All of the muscles that make up the joint that allows that humerus to rotate. And they're tired. You lose a lot. You lose a lot in 2 weeks. But the other thoughts I had are about what you gain. And this isn't some... There's a lot of false positivity out there, and that's not what this is. I can genuinely say that I have new perspective on just about everything regarding yoga. Like a lot of things. I'm much more thankful of a lot of things. More gratitude. That's true. But also the perspective on postures, how to move into and out of them. And in the last 2 weeks, there have been a lot of firsts. It's the first time, I mean, this one might be bullshit, but first time I've ever had an injury this severe. And I was able to keep my shit together enough to take care of the dogs, make sure they were safe, put on clothing that would keep my body as protected as possible to get to the hospital, communicate with people via text to get, appropriate persons involved, and then get my ass somewhere to get help. And I did it all safely. What's that song? Some Mighty Boss Tones? I think he says something like, "I'm not a coward, I've just never been tested. I like to think that if I was, I would pass." And you don't have to have the word coward in there. You could have any word in there. I've just never been tested, and I like to think that if I was, I would pass. Other firsts include doing 365 in a sling. Going through those yoga postures the first day I was injured was eye-opening. And the subsequent days. Like I said, it's really changed how I think about the movements. Like, let me try again. I want to try to express the magnitude of what I'm trying to say. When I began yoga, I felt it was and this is, a lot of people do this, I felt it was a purely physical pursuit. You get in there, you move, you sweat, it's real hard, woo-woo. Not woo-woo like moon juice woo-woo, like woohoo! And then time went on, and that attitude did not change very much until I went to teacher's training. There were some little shifts, but nothing major compared to teacher's training. When I went through teacher's training, my viewpoint on the movements, the postures, what yoga is, what it is for me, how to teach it, what it is for other people, like, it was a major foundational change. Well, I've had another one since then because of this injury. And it's about accessibility. I've thought often about how even if I'm cueing yoga as accessible as I possibly can, I'm still cueing it from a point of view of who I am and what I can do and what I can't do. And there are, everybody does this. It's context. It's a thing that we all have, and it's not good or bad. And you go through events in your life, and sometimes your context changes. So I've often thought about this idea of how my blinders, even if they're out this big, even if my blinders are this wide, I still have blinders on, right? I'm still viewing the world a certain way. And now I have another way to view it. But there's still blinders, right? I'm not like all of a sudden like, whoa! Like I see things differently, but it has its own limitations still, right? The most physically amazing things that I've experienced are the changes when I can do postures that I haven't done for 2 weeks. And it's like doing them with fresh eyes. Like today I was able to go from, first of all, today I did low planks. I've been avoiding low planks. If you notice, mosquitoes. If you notice yesterday, I went right down to the mat, all the way down, then into upward facing dog. Low plank to upward facing dog is that's a mighty transition, and I think it's taken for granted. There's a lot happening, and I can feel it acutely in parts of my body, and it makes me want to re-examine it. It makes me want to pay attention to it differently. Same thing with holding my arms up in Utkatasana versus downward facing dog. I'm weaker than I was 2 weeks ago, physically, because I haven't been doing as much. And I can feel the difference in a major way. I was really concerned, and so I did not do ambitious three-legged dogs. Would have been, I just like yesterday, I intuitively just knew I could do down, high to low planks. It just kind of it was a thing that happened. I intuitively knew not to do that today. I was able to do little three-legged dogs. But I was able to get my foot exactly where I wanted to get it. Like my hip mobility has not suffered at all, which is great. But also it shows that I don't need the momentum that is so often, I don't cue this way and I don't do it this way, but it's so often seen. People raise their leg up and they drive it forward to get their foot way up there. It's unnecessary. Little three-legged dog. Big step forward with finesse and control, grace, control. Another point on perspective is, this is 221 days, I think. Like, I've sat in front of this camera and I've done sun salutations for almost 221 days. And I keep having new experiences in it. And it's not necessarily something I didn't expect, or I could say that I anticipated that, and I wouldn't be wrong. I didn't anticipate the breadth of it. It's been a really extraordinary 220-something days. It's kind of like saying, I have a lot to learn from myself, and not in an egotistical way. Going through these motions, settling your mind to that place of quietness, stillness, looking inward. I have a lot to learn from myself. Or maybe I could say I have a lot to teach myself? I don't know. Now you're just talking semantics. Semantics. Some antics. There's a pun in there. I know it. I know it. I don't. It's all in how you look at it. I don't know where I'm going anymore. I think it's time to cut this short. Shorter? It's already long. It's too late. It can never be short. It's pretty sure I overheated my camera because I had the windsock on it, and I don't need it. There's no wind. So that's been sorted out. Thanks for joining me on my practice today. Namaste.